First off, thanks for joining us. How you doing today, man?
I am great, man. Life is good. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Just it seems like the hot news out there is that Tough Enough is back. We've learned recently that the show's getting another season. As a person who was a past competitor on the show, are you excited for the reboot?
I'm interested to see what they're going to do differently. I remember earlier on when they announced my season of Tough Enough, they had announced that Steve Austin was going to be the host of the show, and I think that created some excitement. I don't know who's going to host this show, or if there will even be a host, or I'm just intrigued to see what they're going to do and how they're going to do it.
Now, I'm sure that you've been getting a lot of calls and texts and tweets and everything about this. As the video submissions start pouring in, is there any advice that you would give to people who are going through the same process that you went through?
That's something that I've want to talk about. I've actually been looking at a lot of the submissions, and I'm going to say like 95% of the submissions that I've seen, they have not been following instructions. And if you go to the Tough Enough website, it clearly states do's and don'ts. And I'm seeing a lot of don'ts. So I think advice I would have for anybody who wants to be on that show is to go to the Tough Enough website and look at the rules and follow them exactly as it says to follow them. Don't go renegade. Don't go rogue. Don't do what you think they'll like. Do what they tell you to do. Like, it's one thing. If you can't follow instructions from, making a video, then what makes you think that they're going to want to have you, work for them if you won't follow basic instructions? That's my advice I give, is just follow instructions on the video.
All right. Now, we here at Another Wrestling Podcast, we're based out of the Northeast, but it seems like you're tearing up the West Coast. So where have you been wrestling lately?
I have been wrestling for a company called IWL, Insane Wrestling League. I actually have a show this Saturday, the 25th, and it's in Baldwin Park, California. I have another show coming up it's May, I want to say the 16th.
Okay.
And it's out in Palm Springs for Alpha Omega Wrestling. I am supposed to be coming back to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Well, maybe not, but what we're talking about it, we're in discussions and stuff. I don't know if you guys get that out there, but I know lots of people are able to get it.
Okay.
Let's see here. And just, odd jobs here and there, just, random pop-up shows. I'll come in and do something. Just trying to stay busy.
Now, on top of all of that, anybody who's listening to this knows that on the WWE Network, they just recently added your season of Tough Enough. So was it hard to go back and rewatch your time there, or did it just kind of light a fire under you after you saw that?
It is bittersweet. I haven't watched it in years. I saw it when it aired, and then and I see clips here and there, but I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it that many times. But I saw that they put it on the networks, and people have been hitting me up about it, and I've been getting, like you said, tweets and Facebook messages and stuff from people, and people asking me. It's funny that they're showing this and it's coinciding with the new season of Tough Enough. So I think that's why probably they're doing that. But it was what it was. Like, I wasn't where I needed to be, and I paid the price for it. I did make it pretty far, considering the disadvantage that I gave myself. But I definitely feel like, and I still feel the way, I still feel this way, that if I was in a little bit of shape, I could have won that season pretty easily, just because I know what they're looking for. And you look at the other cast members from that show, like, none of them really stood out physically. I mean, they're great guys, really talented, but I feel like I was probably the most marketable one, and I have no one to blame but myself for not winning the show. But it does bring back some good memories too. Like, I learned a lot. I met some of my best friends, AJ and Martin. I talk to those guys all the time. I know Matt Cross is he's doing the Lucha Underground show.
Yep.
So he's tearing it up, and I'm really. And another thing about that is the same company that that's been casted Tough Enough casted that show.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's like almost like a form of vindication for him that, I think he was wrongfully eliminated, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. And it's good to see him finally get like what he deserves. He deserves that spotlight. He deserves all the success in the world, because he's one of the better wrestlers that are out there today. But yeah, it definitely helped me. It didn't hurt me at all. It afforded me to travel and wrestle and meet some people and just do a lot of cool stuff. So I have no regrets about doing the show.
Well, let's go back a little bit, because I'll be completely honest. Whenever I looked into bringing you on the show, I didn't know a whole lot about you. So I want to set this all straight. I want to find out how this all began. So obviously, as somebody who's in the wrestling business, I assume that you were a fan of wrestling growing up. When did you start? When did the wrestling bug bite you, I guess?
I can remember watching wrestling as long as I can remember. I remember my mom just turning it on, and I caught like the tail end of Hulkamania and like the kind of the end of the, sort of the beginning or the middle of the Ultimate Warrior sort of era. But I was really, really, really small, so lots of those memories were fuzzy. I kind of grew up in the New Generation / Attitude Era, and I don't know, it's just something that's always intrigued me. I've just always loved the kind of gladiator nature of it, and also the superhero. It's like superheroes fighting. When I grew up, that's what it was. It's always just fascinated me, the different characters and the different storylines and the brutality of it all, and the fanfare, and the big arenas and a lot of crowds. Like, it just, all of it, it's all I kind of wanted to do. So it's really, it just captured me. I didn't really choose it to be this way, but it's kind of just happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned the New Generation and Attitude Era. There were a lot of great wrestlers back then. Who were some of your favorites, or I guess who were the ones that made you really want to pursue this?
I think my favorite has always been The Undertaker, and I feel like I'm pretty lucky to be able to say that my favorite wrestler has been wrestling as long as I've been watching wrestling.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty cool. Not very many people can say that, but I don't know. It wasn't really one guy. It was kind of just the whole thing. It was just the whole thing is what made me want to do it. There wasn't. I can't really give credit to one dude. It's because I can take something from every match that I watch and just say I want to do that. I can do that. This looks like fun. So I can't really give credit to one guy. I mean, I have lots of influences. Like, I've always liked Triple H's work. I've always been a big fan of The Rock. Brock Lesnar. Taking it back even further, the Junkyard Dog, JYD.
Yep.
Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. All those dudes, man. Every one of those guys kind of brought something different to the table, and I, found interest in all of them.
Now, you were a standout football player in high school. Did you ever think that you may make a living becoming a pro football player, or once you were in the football, were you just kind of gearing up to make the transition into wrestling?
That's an interesting question. I've never been asked that before. Good question. My high school didn't have a wrestling team.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like football was the closest thing to wrestling at my high school. I never really thought about going pro. I mean, there was a point where I played around with the idea, but I just, to be completely honest with you, I didn't think I was far enough in my development to really have a realistic shot at it. I think there are guys who were ahead of me. A lot of guys were ahead of me, on the national level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't love football enough to be willing to sacrifice my body for it and not have a great shot at it. Not that there's a great shot to make it in wrestling, because it's there are very few spots available to the guys, but I think football, when you combine the how exclusive it is to get in, plus all the damage it does to your body. I mean, wrestling damages your body too, but with all the concussion stuff going on in football, and guys not being able to walk anymore, and it just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me, and I know that happens in wrestling too, but in football, it's like you play for like 5 or 6 years, and you know what I mean, not that long. It's not long at all, and your body is wrecked. Whereas wrestling, you can wrestle for like 20, 30 years. Sure, your body will be trashed, but at least you got to do it for a long time. And
yeah.
I don't feel like football, for as much as you give of yourself, you don't really get to be part of it for that long. And it just didn't seem like something that I loved, and I've always loved wrestling more, so it was an easy choice to just stop doing football and get into wrestling.
Okay, now, obviously you were on Tough Enough, but prior to Tough Enough, how much wrestling experience did you have?
Tough Enough was in 2011. I started in 2007, so about 4 years, about 3.5, 4 years, something like that.
And I was just going to ask, how did you decide where to start training? Whenever you hear some people that just kind of, they knew somebody or they were backyard or whatever. Did you go to an actual wrestling school?
Well, me and Ricardo Rodriguez came up together through the indies out here, and I found him through MySpace, and okay. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So PWG, right?
Yep.
I saw a flyer for a PWG show at my junior college that I was going to at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is what is this? This is wrestling that is not WWE. I don't know what this is." And this was before social media was huge. So I went to the show, and I saw a bunch of guys sitting there wearing EOW T-shirts, which stood for Evolution of Wrestling. And I was like, "What is EOW?" So I went on MySpace and I searched EOW, and I found them. And one of the guys I found was a dude named Chimera. And I started talking to Chimera for a couple of weeks, and then Chimera brought me out to train with them. This backyard had a 18 by 18 ring, and ropes, padding, the whole nine. And as a young kid, I was blown away by it. Chimera went on to do indie shows, and we would go to different places, different training schools, mainly Lucha Libre, because out here in SoCal, Lucha Libre is a big part of it. I obviously can't do the Hurricanes or the Hessers and stuff, but Chimera could, so we would do that match. He and I would wrestle up and down California. Fast forward 3 years, we go to this school called Knox Pro, which is headed up by Rikishi, at the time, Orlando Jordan, Dane Rell, and the Black Pearl. One of the standout students from there is current superstar Rusev. So me, Ricardo, and Rusev trained together for about 1.5 years at Knox Pro. So I did that for a while, and then Tough Enough came along, and I was very cynical about it. I was like, "Oh, it's BS. I'm sure it's already casted. This is probably just for show. It doesn't really matter." But I sent in my stuff, and I got the call back and did the auditions and stuff, and did a lot of stuff, jumped through a lot of hoops, but we got to be in that show. So that's my journey. That's a quick version of my story.
That's great. Now, I want to get into a few other things real quick. Like I said, we know you're busy, and but recently, one of your trainers at Tough Enough has come under fire for maybe some of his training methods. Did you have any problems when you were there with Bill DeMont, or do you feel that his training methods were were harsh or anything like that? At any time did you feel like that he was pushing too hard?
Here's the thing about wrestling training is that it's not going to be easy. And when you train with someone with a reputation and a bill, you kind of should be ready for it. Not ready for it, but you should kind of know what's coming. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. And, Bill has a good track record as far as producing, really good wrestlers. And, so I'm not going to say it was overboard or anything like that, but, it wasn't easy. No training with Bill DeMar is ever easy. I think he did the smart thing by just, stepping down just to avoid all the, just to avoid all of it, all the unneeded attention, all the unwanted attention. But Bill was always cool to me, outside of the training environment. After the show ended, he, got me work in some companies and stuff, and he had to do that. He submitted my name to get a second look from WWE a couple years ago. So Bill's done right by me. So I really don't have anything bad to say about Bill.
That's great, yeah, because we talked to some people and it seems like almost 70-30, I guess. Like 70% of the people will say that he was a great guy and great trainer, and then the other 30 just kind of mixed feelings about him. But it's nice to hear that he's still helping people out and stuff. So now you're definitely still going. So I guess I would ask you, what do you feel like you've improved most since your time on Tough Enough as far as wrestling goes?
I think my physique and my conditioning is better than it was in 2011. I'm more comfortable in the ring. I feel like I'm a lot smoother in the ring. And I just feel like I'm just all around a better wrestler now than I was then. And it's coming much easier to me now than it used to. Before, I feel like I would think a lot in the ring and I would worry a lot and have all these butterflies. But the butterflies never go away, but you learn to channel them. You know what I mean? Like as you go on, you learn to channel the butterflies and the positive energy. And I feel like I've been able to do that. So I'm by no means am I the perfect wrestler, but I feel like I am worlds better than I used to be.
That's great. Now, I'm like we said, you're from the West Coast, and we just had WrestleMania out there. Did you get to attend WrestleMania, or what were you doing around that time?
I was at WrestleMania. Me and a buddy went up there and decided to make a trip of it. So we just went up there, got a hotel, watched the show, met up with some of the boys afterwards, and had a good time. I thought it was a great show. I know lots of people thought it was kind of like average, but I feel like I don't feel like there were any bad matches. I think every match was solid. It wasn't. I don't think there were any Bret Shawn Iron Man match quality matches in, but every match was definitely good. There were no bad matches. And I think if you can have a wrestling show with no bad matches, you've had a good wrestling show. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, obviously, there were some big names on that show. You spoke earlier about how you really like The Undertaker. If you got to make the decision, or even on the independent scene, TNA, any of these companies that are out there today, who are some of the guys that you'd like to get a chance to wrestle?
Any company, huh?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see how I do against The Rock, because I feel like he's just the biggest star this business has ever seen. So I think that's a no-brainer net for me. I'd like to go against Triple H. I feel like he is probably the smartest guy who's ever been in the ring. Let's see, who else, man? I got so many people. Like, it's always coming to me all at once. I think it'd be fun to go against Abyss from TNA.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really underrated. I think he is much better than he gets credit for. I'd like to go against a local guy out here named Scorpio Sky.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We somehow we somehow managed to avoid each other all these years. I hope to end that soon. And let's see, one more. I'd like to go against The Undertaker just because, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Now, we've went over who you would like to wrestle. Are there companies out there? I mean, you've been in WWE. You've wrestled for some companies on the West Coast. Are there any companies that you've heard of, or some bigger companies, smaller companies that you'd like to get the chance to work for?
Well, I've always wanted to go to Japan, like New Japan Pro Wrestling in particular. I've always been fascinated with just that whole scene and the amount of respect that the fans have for it out there. I think I would fit right in over there. I wouldn't mind doing some of the bigger independent companies here. I don't feel like I know the business has shifted, especially in the indies, towards like more cruiserweight style, and that's not really my style. So that kind of limits me with my options. But I definitely would like to do PWG one day because it's in my backyard. It's not really far from me. Have you heard of Lucha Lavoom?
Yes, absolutely.
That's like, as far as indies go, that's like my number one. I would love to work there. I think that'd be a blast.
Yeah, they look like they have some awesome shows. So.
Oh, they're great, man. And then I just want to travel around the world, man. That's really it. I just want to do Japan and Mexico and UK, Canada. I just want to go wherever it takes me.
So I my thought is, after you were on Tough Enough and the show ended and you kind of had some time to reflect, did you ever question, like, I don't want to do this anymore, or did you just say, this is the only thing I want to do?
I never doubted in my mind. There have been times where I've put it more on the back burner just because, like, for instance, I got my BA last year, and I wanted to make sure I had that before I tried to do any sort of wrestling. But it's always been like, wrestling is always something that I want to do. It just makes me feel, I'm just happier with life when I'm able to wrestle. It just makes sense to me. I mean, I feel like if I can survive Tough Enough, then, like, if there's anything that was going to break me, it would have been that,
Absolutely.
And it didn't break me. In fact, it made me want to do it even more because I've seen how bad it can get. And if that's how bad it gets, then that's fine with me.
Now, you, on the show, it wasn't just a wrestling competition. It was kind of wrestling, and then they mixed some things in there. Do you think that got you prepared enough for what you would have been dealing with in WWE, or do you think that it would have been, much more difficult?
You mean like the trainings and stuff?
Yeah, well, they did like the challenges where you were like doing the cheerleading at one point and the ropes course and all that stuff. Do you think that was necessary, or do you think that was just kind of a way to try to weed people out?
I feel like when you have a television show, if it's a competition or a sitcom or whatever, the number one thing is you're going to make sure you get the shot that you want to get and get the ratings you want to get. So they weren't about to put a camera on 14 people and let us do whatever we wanted to do. They want to, they're going to make us put us in situations that make us look bad or make us look foolish or whatever. I feel like the cheerleading competitions, unless I would do a spirit squad gimmick, I don't see how that would help me.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, it'll help me, be open to doing more things, which I was. I mean, I was very open to it, but and like some of the other stuff, like the roller skates and what else did we do? We did the basketball game. Like, I mean, that stuff's all good. It makes good TV. I think those kinds of things bring out personality in people, so you kind of see who they are under the stress or when they're put into weird situations. Like, it's good to see, how people react to things. So I think that's why they did that, just to see, what makes us tick, to see how we handle different situations that we're not used to. So, I mean, I don't think it's super important. I think the training is more important, and the promos and stuff like that are more important. But, there's a place for that too, I guess. I mean, it's a small place, but there's a place.
Now, I think I've got like two or three more questions. I know I told you that I wouldn't keep you, but you're just it's pretty good to talk to you. So I have to ask, and I'm not trying to get you to say anything bad about anybody or whatever, because that's not what this is about. But the finale saw Luke Robinson and Andy Levine. Obviously, Andy won, but neither of them continued on. Andy was let go, and Luke, I think he does a few every now and then. But when you said you still talk to AJ and Martin and probably some others, do you guys ever, talk about how that ended and like were you shocked by that, or how? I mean, just what were your thoughts on the finale, I guess, is my biggest question.
I felt like Luke was the clear winner of those two. But they went with Andy. I think Andy was a safer choice. Mm-hmm. Luke was probably going to be a wild card, sort of. He's a very strong personality, so it may have been hard to control him. So I think that's why they went with the easy, safe choice with Andy. But no, we used to talk about it all the time, but we kind of just thrown to leave it kind of in the past and kind of just see what's next. But I do feel like Luke, I know Luke doesn't wrestle at all anymore. He hasn't wrestled in a couple of years. Mm-hmm. He just completely stopped. And Andy, last I checked, he was in Puerto Rico, but this was like maybe 3 years ago. So I haven't heard from him in a few years. I have no idea what he's up to.
Yeah.
But I know he has 2 kids, and he may have 3 by now. I don't know. But, so I think they chose wrong by choosing Andy, but, they're going to do what they want to do, so.
Absolutely. Now, does it ever, I mean, I'm sure it had to come up. I just have to say that the one person who is still in the WWE after all of that was Cameron. And when you first got to the house and you were there and you saw her and you heard that she said her favorite match was Alicia Fox versus Melina, did everybody just kind of just shake their head, or I mean, how did that? I just it's still like one of those wrestling pop culture things that it's never going to be forgotten. So I just want to know how you guys felt about that, being wrestling fans.
Well, the thing is that she did say that in the house. She only said it when we were in the ring with Steve, the mm-hmm. bottom 3 thing that he did. So the first time she said it was when it was that moment, in the ring.
Yeah.
And those, what they would do is they would, Steve would, he would call the bottom 3, and then those people would, pack their bags, whatever. We'd all eat dinner, shower up and stuff, and then, maybe a couple hours after that, the 3 people would have to go to the judgment, mm-hmm. area or whatever. And so we got in the ring, and those bottom 3 things took like an hour each. Like, they were really long. Like, they didn't show a whole lot in the show, but they took forever. We just had to sit there for an hour while Steve just blasted us. But when she said that, at that moment, I knew that I was safe. I was like, oh, thank God! I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I think she had a chance to stay. I think she could have stayed had she not said that. But
yeah.
She said that, and she can name it because he asked all of us that, and he asked me. He said, "What's your favorite?" He actually asked me first, so she had time to think, and she still that's the best she had.
Wow. So
he's like, so Eric, what's your favorite match? And I'm like, oh man, that's easy. Taker Sean, WrestleMania 25. Like, are you kidding me? And I wasn't gonna kiss him. Okay, I had 2 shots. Okay. In a split second, I had decided, do I want to kiss up to him or do I want to tell the truth?
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm just going to tell the truth, man. He can tell if I'm lying anyway. So I said, take your Sean from Mania. And he's like, all right. And he walked to the second. I forgot what Michelle said, but Ariane said what she said, and I was just, I think I was laughing. They didn't show it because I think that would be that wouldn't look good for Alicia or Melina Fox, but or I'm sorry, Melina or Alicia Fox, got my word twisted. But I think I was struggling to myself, and I think Steve was about to laugh too, but he kept it together, and that was the best. I knew I was safe at that moment. I wasn't worried about it. So yeah, that's I think there's T-shirts of that actually.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's definitely, it's like Shockmaster and then that are like
it's
two
really
of the
bad
things that are never gonna ever be forgotten. But so I'm also curious. I know that they made you give back your WWE championship. Did you actually get to go home with one, or did they really keep it?
No, they really kept it.
That sucks, man.
I know that's like I was like, oh, I want that belt, the tough enough belt. But if I would have won, I would have kept it.
Yeah,
that's part of the deal. Part of the deal, whether you win, you keep it.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool that they stuck by their word, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Besides, the spinner belt sucked anyway. So
yeah.
whatever.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to thank you for being on today. Where can fans keep in contact with you?
Follow me on Twitter at Darth Watts, like Darth Vader, but Darth Watts. On Instagram, it's Eric Watts LA, and you can just search my name on Facebook, and I should pop up.
Awesome.
So those are my networks.
Well, we look forward to some big things from you. We thank you for joining us, and good luck. And we want to hear from you. So everybody follow him on Twitter so we can kind of keep up with you. Are you going to be watching the new show?
I'm going to watch for sure. Yeah, I have a network, I know it's on USA, but I'll watch it eventually when it comes to the network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat tonight. We have a pro wrestler unlike any other. This gentleman is a former WWE Tough Enough contestant as well as a performer for Hood Slam, but we're not going to just put him in that box. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome AJ Kirsch. AJ, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Dangerously close to better than ever, actually. Thank you for having me on, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, first of all, I want to ask, I've heard you've done, a lot of interviews, and everyone says former WWE Tough Enough contestant. Does that bother you, or do you embrace that?
Oh, not at all. Tough Enough was one of the greatest experiences of my life, both as a wrestling fan and as somebody whose lifelong dream was to sign with the WWE. So within the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, former Tough Enough contestant is still probably my largest, or should I say most well-known contribution to pro wrestling. So no, that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I was able to experience moments that most wrestling fans or aspiring wrestlers could only dream about. So no, that doesn't bother me at all.
That's awesome. Now, we just found out not too long ago that there's going to be a reboot of Tough Enough, and there's been some what I like to call train wreck videos out there.
That's putting it politely.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on these videos, and what can people do to set themselves apart?
That's funny you bring that up, because I just posted something on my Facebook and Twitter, which I will plug at great length at the conclusion of this interview. I won't bore you with that right now, but I've seen a lot of these videos. People are posting them on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and just about everywhere. And a lot of people are tagging me because they know that I was a contestant on the most recent season. And the one piece of advice I would give to everybody is do not cut a promo. Like, don't just stand in front of the camera and cut that generic pro wrestler. This has been my lifelong dream. I've got more passion. I've got more drive than anybody else. And it's up to me to prove to you, Triple H, and to you, WWE, that I am tough enough. One, anybody can just crap that out in 30 seconds, just like I just did. And two, they're going to see that so many times. They probably have to go through thousands, if not tens of thousands of videos of everybody just pleading their case that they're the one who's tough enough, that they've got so much drive and passion, and this has been a lifelong dream. They hear that so much that it's just a waste of their time at this point. You need to put together a video that is not just 60 seconds of you talking in front of the camera, but actually showcases your wrestling or athletic ability, something that shows your charisma, your creativity, a special talent that sets you apart from everybody else. If you just stand in front of the camera and cut fill in the blank, lifelong dream this, or super passionate that, they are going to never give you another thought and probably hate you a little bit for wasting their time.
So what you're telling me is that I should redo my video, I guess.
Redo your video. Or if you submitted it already, then just wait till next season, because that is, I mean, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's a waste of time. Get back on the couch and keep dreaming if that's what you've done. Sorry. No offense if that's what you've done. But.
No. Well, I appreciate the brutal honesty. So let's just kind of get into this real quick, but where have you been since Tough Enough? Now, I do follow you on Facebook and on Twitter.
I'm sorry then. I'm sorry.
No, I would love to know. Obviously, we're going to get into Hood Slam and some other things, but where has your life taken you since Tough Enough?
Well, that's another reason why I don't feel bad about having my leading accolade being former Tough Enough contestant, because since Tough Enough, I have enjoyed success not just within the realm of professional wrestling, but my career has also taken a different path. I've started to focus on other avenues of entertainment, such as acting, commercial work, modeling, hosting live events. And it wasn't until Tough Enough that I came to the realization that if I'm going to contribute to pro wrestling on a regular basis from here on out, my contributions to the business are probably going to be far more valuable behind a microphone than they are in the ring. Because in the ring, I was never great. I was good. I was okay. I was never spectacular. I could work just fine with just about anybody. But at my height and my build, I'm never going to work like Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? Like at this, I mean, it's just not going to happen. I don't want to beat myself up that much.
Yeah.
So I started focusing on other avenues of entertainment, and as it stands right now, I mean, I've hosted seminars at the Cauliflower Alley convention in Vegas for the past 2 years. I was in a national John Deere commercial, which is probably the biggest commercial I've been in so far. I've also been in commercials for Verizon and TRX Training and Nordstrom and a bunch of other stuff. I've got the leading role in a couple television shows, including I Almost Got Away with It and The Day I Almost Died, both of which are on Investigation Discovery. And interestingly enough, I scored a role as a National Guardsman in San Andreas, The Rock's upcoming blockbuster that will be out on May 29th.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I've got any screen time. I don't know if they left the scene in the movie. It could have gotten scrapped in post-production, but there's a chance you might catch me on the screen for a second or two or three. And so it's just kind of, it's a lot of fun just to see. And I mean, and then there's Hood Slam, which we'll get into in a little bit, which is by far my most passionate project, but it's just been a complete trip to see where my career has gone since WWE Tough Enough. And I'm not sure it would have gotten off to such a good start without Tough Enough.
Yeah.
So just another reason why I'm super appreciative for my time on Tough Enough. Not forget the fact again that it was just like a pro wrestling fan's wet dream come true.
Yeah, well, and it's good that you're passionate about it, but you're also humble. You realize that it did something for you. I don't think that that's the case with everybody, but now in professional wrestling today, there's a lot of talk about the PG era, and everybody's, fans around my age are upset about it because they live.
How old are you?
I am 31, so.
Okay, me too. So
okay.
Then I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so they're pissed because the Attitude Era is the greatest thing ever, and I get it. But with that, I think you've had this explosion of independent wrestling. And that's kind of the market that I think that people around my age, at least in this area, are going for. So if you had to pick something right now that you think is missing from mainstream wrestling, I guess, what would you think?
Well, actually, I'm going to play devil's advocate on the point you just made. I'm not so sure indie wrestling is all that much better off than WWE is right now, because most people, if they're in the independent wrestling scene, unless they're just doing it for fun, just for, they're weekend warriors and they're just doing it for shits and giggles or because they enjoy it, they want to get to WWE, which means the genre of professional wrestling that these independent organizations are going to exhibit is going to largely resemble the genre of sports entertainment that WWE is putting out. And so it sucks because the WWE is such a limited and linear genre of sports entertainment. You can get away with absolutely anything in professional wrestling. Anything. You can get away with anything. And I feel like because the WWE is now a publicly traded company, because they have, advertisers to answer. I mean, they've always had advertisers to answer to, but mostly because they're a publicly traded company and they're not just about pro wrestling anymore. They're not just about beating their competition anymore. They are about movies and music and video games and Saturday Morning Slam or whatever their cartoon show is called. Like they are a media machine. They're not just about pro wrestling anymore. They're not fighting for their lives the way they were in 1997 and 1998 when WCW was breathing down their neck. It's not just about a fight for survival. You fight your fiercest fight when you have to fight for survival. And since WWE won that war, I feel like they don't have a reason to be as driven or as anxious to put out truly compelling television because, now they say we're competing against sitcoms and we're competing against dramas and everything. It's like if you try to beat all of these other avenues of entertainment at their own game, you're going to spread yourself you're not going to beat all of them. You're going to make an attempt at it, and I feel like mostly the attempt will fall flat because all these other sitcoms and dramas and everything else, they're doing what they're doing so much better than you are because they've been doing it for longer. Their performers are different, and that's why I think ultimately the product is stale today because they don't have a reason to keep their viewers interested. It's the only show in town, and they know it.
Now, so we're saying that WWE's gone soft. Is that where we're headed?
No, WWE hasn't gone soft. I feel like WWE, they have to go soft because, again, they can't push the envelope like they used to because back in the Attitude Era, the name of the game was pushing the envelope so that you keep your viewers and attract more viewers from WCW and ECW.
Yeah.
They've gone soft because it's not about the content they create anymore. It's not about getting new fans that are watching other pro wrestling shows. Soft, it's just not as compelling anymore. Yeah. But then again, this was 13 years, what is it now, 2015?
Yeah.
15 years ago was the Attitude Era. Yeah. Like, it's just not the same company. It's not the same fan base now as it was back then. And we're not the same people as we were when we were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. No, absolutely. In this same vein, it came out this week that Seth Rollins was no longer allowed, I guess, to use his finishing move, the curb stomp. I don't know if that was for fear of...
Is that a storyline or is that legit? Because I watch Raw like semi-annually at this point.
It seems like it's legit because he straight up changed his move to more of like a DDT, which if you're talking head injury, then it didn't really change much. But I don't know if this is what you're saying, them trying to appease the sponsors and the people that they have to, or do you think that this is something more for the protection of the wrestlers?
Well, it's news to me entirely. I don't know. Yeah. If you can see me right now, I'm just like shrugging my shoulders. I don't know. Does it really matter? I mean, Seth Rollins had to change his finisher. I don't know. Undertaker still uses the tombstone. You don't see anybody else using the pile driver. And Undertaker wrestles once a year, so I guess it's okay. And it's the Undertaker. Nobody does that move, safer than he does. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that people get concussions from taking a face bump 2 feet off the canvas.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how I feel about that story, nor do I have any interest in learning the truth behind it, I guess. Who cares?
Well, I'm building to something here, and
okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's gonna be awesome whenever. No, so with all this stuff at play, you have people that are starting to look for alternatives. So I mentioned independent wrestling. There are several different brands. I'm on the East Coast. There is a group called Interspecies Wrestling. Which,
I know Interspecies Wrestling,
which is pretty amazing. You have the old tried and true Chikara, which is also a little different, but
little different. They're pretty different.
They're out there, but this has given people. I don't even know. I think that they're attracting such a different crowd now that I can't even say that they're all just wrestling fans. They're just. It's like it's a happening, and I think that's what Hood Slam is, which you are a major part of. So. I want you to kind of give the people out there that may not be familiar. Like I said, we get a lot. We're based out of Poughkeepsie, New York, so we get a lot of people on the East Coast listeners. Turn them on to Hood Slam.
Hood Slam is live music. It's burlesque. It's theater. It's comedy. It's satire. And more than anything, it's a fucking party. Like, it is... It's a jubilant madness beyond anything I've ever experienced. And I'm not just talking about within the realm of pro wrestling, because at the end of the day, it's still matches happening in the pro wrestling ring. But I mean, it's a party. It's everything that wrestling fans our age remember about their youth. It's like we make grown adults feel the way they did on Saturday morning when they were turning on cartoons, or Saturday afternoon at 3:05 when they were turning on WCW Saturday Night, or when you were reading comic books late at night under a blanket with a flashlight. We make you feel the way it felt when you were watching it for the first time. And that's what I think is missing from pro wrestling as a whole nowadays. You just don't have that feeling anymore. When you hear the glass shatter and Austin does that bad motherfucker walk down to the ring, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It's unbelievable. And that same feeling you get when you're watching Star Wars and you see a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and you're like, oh shit, here it comes. Like, we make you feel the way you felt when you were a kid watching Hulk Hogan walk to the ring and you had your big foam finger waving it around at home. And I mean, there's no sequence of words that I can put into any kind of order that does justice to how it feels to be a part of Hood Slam. And Chikara is similar, yes. Interspecies Wrestling is similar, yes. In fact, we've done some talent. We've had some talent from Interspecies Wrestling at Hood Slam on a couple of occasions, and they killed it. By the way, they killed it. I'm referring to the ISW Tag Team Champions. They were, at least when they were here at Hood Slam, Tremendous Investigation Incorporated.
They're Bill Carr and Dan Barry.
Yeah, detectives.
Yes,
detectives. And they killed it. And they were great. But it's just different at Hood Slam. And Hood Slam, ironically, does something that the WWE is putting so much time and energy and money into doing. We're getting people to a wrestling show. Don't tell anybody it's a wrestling show.
Yep.
We bring people to a wrestling show that are not wrestling fans. They just want to be entertained, and they want to yell and scream and boo the characters they hate and cheer the characters that they love and get a drink. And maybe if they're suffering from a little glaucoma, maybe they need a little bit of the medicinal. And they want to bang their head to a hard-hitting live band. They can do all of this at Hood Slam because Hood Slam has what WWE does not, and what I dare say they will never have again, and that is unlimited creative freedom. Because the performers at Hood Slam are people your age, my age, wrestling fans. We grew up playing video games and reading comic books and watching wrestling and going to watch Indiana Jones and Back to the Future and Star Wars. We all grew up in this generation of just being total dorks. We're all total dorks. We're all marks. We're all fans. And when you get all these people that are so creative in the same room with 1,000 people that are just on a Friday night that are just fiending for something to yell and scream at and check their fucks at the door, you get the accidental phenomenon, which is motherfucking Hood Slam. Boom! I'm out.
Yeah, that dropped the mic right there. That was amazing.
Thanks. Me talk words good.
Yeah. Well, my question again, we're speaking about Hood Slam, and maybe you don't want to change a thing about it. Maybe you love it exactly the way it is. But if you had unlimited capital, or the sky's the limit, you could get any talent there that you wanted. What are some things that you would like to see in Hood Slam in the future?
Well, I'm not sure I would change anything about the talent we have right now. The talent we have right now features former WWE talent. Talent that is kind of sort of with WWE right now. Brian Kendrick has been a regular at Hood Slam for years. Paul London's been on shows. Gangrel was a part of our Entertainia Triple Shot last month. We've had Mustafa, ECW original, Drake Younger, who is now in NXT as a referee. We've got there's the talent at Hood Slam can go against the talent in any other locker room anywhere in the world. Period. End of story. As far as if I had endless capital, if Hood Slam were a weekly wrestling show. I don't know, if woulda, coulda, shoulda, blah, blah, blah. But if Hood Slam were a weekly wrestling show, it would become a cult phenomenon worldwide.
Okay. So,
I truly believe that. And if you don't think so, I invite you to check out Hood Slam on YouTube, where we actually just started a subscription service. WWE charges $9.99 a month for their network. Hey, that's cool. We're going to charge $1.99. And you can subscribe to YouTube, and every single Hood Slam show that we have ever had or that we can dig up is going to go on that channel. So I invite you to subscribe for $1.99, and shows are going to be started to add regularly. So check it out and see for yourself. But Hood Slam is a weekly episodic wrestling show on tour. Oh my God, it would be unfathomably awesome.
Okay, well, let's hope for that. I just can't. I'm looking over your accolades. Like we said, Tough Enough, former Tough Enough, reality show star, commercials, acting. What personally do you want to see for yourself? In the next 5-10 years, are you just living daily, day by day, or do you have some actual goals that you want to achieve?
To be perfectly honest, right now, there's no brass ring that I'm trying to get out and grab. There's no, it used to be, I want to sign a contract with the WWE. And if I can do that, then my life would be made. And then it would be get to the main roster. And then it would be, I don't know, main event WrestleMania or whatever it is when you're dreaming and you're pursuing the dream. That used to be what it was. Now it's as long as I enjoy what I'm doing, as long as I have found a grind that I wake up in the morning, regardless if I have to wake up at 2 a.m. or 10 a.m. and be excited about the things I'm doing, I'm good. And that's where I find myself right now. I love where I'm at with pro wrestling, with Hood Slam. I love where I'm at with the acting and the modeling and the commercial work. Of course, I hope to get larger scale and better paying gigs all the time. But, that's part of the grind. And I don't know, I think it would be kind of cool to get down to LA and see if, test the waters down there. Actually, I plan on being in LA for the last 3 weeks of June and start hustling auditions and seeing if I can score some gigs and start rubbing elbows and just seeing what I can make happen down there. But, I don't really have a end all be all right now. I'm just kind of enjoying the shit out of life.
I don't think you could have put that any better. You're a wordsmith, is what I'm finding out here.
Thanks.
And
well, like I said, I did learn a thing or two from my time on Tough Enough.
Well, I think you're using it to your best. I wanted to ask these questions because everybody's Wikipedia page needs to be updated, and I'm on a personal.
Do I have a Wikipedia page?
I don't know. If you don't, then it's going to get started after this because I really.
Oh, sweet.
I want to see this happen because I'm tired of the generic information and like AJ, who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Oh, was that not a question? Oh,
well,
okay.
It was, yeah. But so, other than wrestling, I mean, you're like I said, you're known for wrestling. You're acting, all that stuff. What does AJ like to do that doesn't have anything to do with wrestling or acting or modeling?
Does the gym count? Because it kind of contributes to all those things.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you like. I mean, I don't want you to pull any punches with me. If you like, animal sacrifice, then please let me know.
I can't say I'm much into animal sacrifices.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Oh no, I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
I'm not one to knock it until I tried it. Sometimes I'll try it twice just to make sure I'm doing it right. But it's weird. The grind is so consuming to me a lot of the time that if I have a day or a half day or something where I don't have anything going on, and I mean, there's always something I could be working on. Like it never ends. The grind never ends. There's always a T-shirt I could be designing, or there's I don't know. What do I have going on right now? I am designing a new T-shirt for Brosif Joe Brody, the character I do at Hood Slam. I mean, there's no shortage of things that I could be doing, but if I find the time to just kind of step back and relax, I don't really like doing much of anything. I like chilling with my friends, or I don't know, watching Netflix for a little while, find a new show to get obsessed with. It's funny. I feel like I do so much so often when I find myself in a place where I don't have to do anything or be anywhere. It's just kind of like, I'm not really sure what to do with myself. Like the grind becomes habit. It becomes, I literally do not know how to occupy my time if I'm not pursuing something. I'm addicted to the pursuit.
Well, that's not a bad life to live. Obviously, you're a West Coaster, so
yes.
We have snow here today. So
wait, you have what?
Oh yeah, it's happening right now. It's been on and off for the past couple days.
Wait, no, what's the word? You have what?
Snow.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's it. I think I'm breaking up on this line. I may have to hang up right now. So.
Is that like sunshine? Is that anything like sunshine? Because I'm looking out my window right now, and let's see. Nope, no clouds.
It's like
no clouds.
It's like cold rain. I guess I could tell you. Maybe you've heard of that.
No, I don't get it.
No, okay.
Rain I've heard of. I've heard of rain.
Wow. I'm
not familiar with the snow business, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, well, let's just hope we're about done with it. Now, you're a busy man. You've got a roast that you're getting ready for.
Yes.
Brosif Joe Brody. Let's hear a little bit about this character.
So, Brosif Joe Brody. I mean, this won't air until May the 8th. But
yes.
The night that we're recording this, April 24th, Friday, the character I do at Hood Slam, Brosif Joe Brody, who I host, I do the ring announcing, and I do the live commentary as Brosif Joe Brody. So this character is a combination of parts of my personality that are amplified to an obnoxious level, because as any wrestling fan knows, the best gimmicks are just parts of your own personality amplified to the nth degree. And also a combination of characters that I've come across during my time as a student at Chico State, which is notorious for being one of the biggest party schools in the nation. My time as a bouncer in San Francisco at one of the douchiest clubs I've ever come across. And now I live in Berkeley, which is also home to one of the most esteemed colleges in the world, but not without its ridiculous douchebag frat boys. So this is basically a combination of all these different ingredients, and together they create this raging dickhead douchebag ultra bro named Brosif Joe Brody, who worships Nickelback, who goes through way too much Axe body spray, and works bro into just about any word he can. He has a very extensive vocabulary.
Wow.
Yeah.
I encourage all of you to get on Hood Slam, sign up for the subscription service, follow this guy. I have a feeling, I'm not a fortune teller or a psychic, but I think that we've got some big things coming for AJ Kirsch. I think that he has got the gift of gab, and I hope nothing but the best for you. But now's the time. You teased it earlier in the interview.
Yeah.
Please get out all of those social media things. So we need to know where we can find you.
Yeah, I'll give everybody like 10 seconds to grab a pen and paper because I am a self-admitted social media whore. So here's how you can keep track of what I'm doing. You can add me on Facebook, facebook.com/AJ Kirsch. That's KIRSCH. I accept all friend requests. I've got a Facebook page that you can like, which is facebook.com/AJ Kirsch fan. You can follow me on Twitter @AJ Kirsch. Instagram is @AJ Kirsch, all lowercase. And I also actually have pages on Facebook and Twitter for Brosif Joe Brody. So facebook.com/Brosif Joe Brody and Twitter @BroJBrody.
Wow. That is...
Oh, and Hood Slam. You should totally follow Hood Slam. It's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all @Hood Slam.
Now, you mentioned a T-shirt. Is there a place where these are made, or is that just for you?
Actually, yes. Thank you for bringing it up. I have a store on ProWrestlingTees.com. So if you go to ProWrestlingTees.com, search for Brosif Joe Brody. I've got 4 designs on there. If I remember off the top of my head, it's G.I. Bro, Big Lebroski, Guns N' Broses, and San Francisco Bro. So no shortage of bro merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. Support your local bro.
And while you're there, you can pick up another wrestling podcast T-shirt as well. So I had to get that out as well.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
It is a business.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely a business. I want to thank you for coming on today. Like I said, I'm not just saying it because you're on right now, but I do see bright things in your future. I appreciate your candidness, and I appreciate your passion in all things. So congratulations, and please keep up the good work. And we would love to have you on. We scratched the surface tonight, my friends. And,
yeah.
There's plenty more bro downs to be had. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I had a great time, and I appreciate what you said about the kind words. And again, if you're cutting a video for Tough Enough, set yourself apart. Like, just make yourself different. Tell them why. Don't cut it as a pro wrestling character. Do not cut a quote-unquote promo. They want to see you. So show them who you are and why you should be on Tough Enough, what sets you apart, because I am living proof you never know. Even if you lose, even if you get on the show and lose, you never know where it could take you. So good luck, everybody. And, that's all I got.
Basically, don't cut a promo, cut a bromo.
Cut a bromo, bro. Well done.
Thank you.
The flag is strong with this one.
Thank you. Anytime, you're more than welcome on another wrestling podcast. Thank you very much for being here with us tonight.
My pleasure, man. I look forward to doing it again.
He is a reality show veteran, a real-life veteran, an MMA fighter, a bull rider, and a former WWE Tough Enough competitor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeremiah Big Rig Riggs. Jeremiah, thanks for joining us today. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on your podcast, man. I'm doing real good. Doing awesome. I mean, living the American dream. What can I say?
Well, that's awesome. Right away, I want to get into this. I saw that you will be doing some bull riding soon. I didn't realize that you were going to be doing anything like this. We saw you on TV. We've seen you in MMA, but this seems like something different. How did you get into bullfighting or bull riding? Actually,
yeah, actually, it was something about I've always been a big fan of rodeo. I've always been a big fan of bull riding. Always back probably 10 years ago. I'd always, of course, not like I ain't never done everything on the sun, but I've always always just intrigued me. I always wanted to, always wanted, don't ask me why. I guess it's just something that some other bull riders understand and some people won't. I've always wanted to ride bulls, and now, it's just in my particular time of my life, this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm doing, and I don't half-ass anything, and I'm very competitive, and I'm an athlete, man, and that's it's why not, it's just something I'm doing, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and I'm gonna take it to the top just like I have everything else.
Now, this is being called the Beast versus Bull, and it's going to be at Beggs Open Rodeo, and that's tomorrow night, Tulsa RV Ranch at 7:30 p.m. in Beggs, Oklahoma. Now, if this goes well, will we be seeing you do this more often?
Oh, yeah. I've done hooked up with no other than David Berry. He's been around the game for a long time, a legend himself. A veteran bull rider. He knows his stuff. I couldn't be more happier to have fallen in with such a great guy, a coach. Just as the other involved with me is Matt Bohan. A 6-time P-Girl qualifier. He's the man. He's been there, done it. Wore the T-shirt and everything, and to have these two guys in my corner, it's got my back, and it's definitely you to be the best. You train with the best. I've always done that in anything in my career that I've done, and think a little above. I've been talented enough and had the talent, and God gifted me with a bunch of cool things to do in my life, and that's what I'm doing. I've always strived to be the best professional athlete I could possibly be, and that's where I'm at now. I'm down here in Oklahoma with Dave and Matt. We'll go over some things today down here in Locust Grove. Just get ready for tomorrow, and get sticky on the back of one, man. That's just got to rip it, and that's just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get down there, and then. He's gonna know just as well as I will. It's gonna be a fight. It's just no other than anything else I've ever done.
Now, speaking of that, we are a wrestling podcast, so we're gonna have to talk about a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you already know.
We're gonna talk about bull riding. We're gonna talk about MMA. We want to talk about it all, but I want to get back to some of the professional wrestling. Now, you were on WWE Tough Enough.
That's right.
What was the driving force behind you trying out for that show? Were you a fan of wrestling when you were a child, or?
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone that can't say that they're not a fan of wrestling. Especially in you say my age group or growing up. I grew up around the Ric Flair, the Hulk Hogan. You name it. Junkyard Dog. Shit. I grew up watching them all. NWO. I loved it, and I never would have dreamed in a million years that I would have been on a Monday Night Live, Raw, or hell, in Stone Cold's back pocket, should I say? That it's things that you look. It's what dreams made of. Anything possible, but whenever I broke into, along with my mixed martial art career, I had a very good opportunity to at first they talked for TNA, and with them it was always it was things that had come up, of course, just like I believe in anybody athlete's career, you always have windows of opportunity, and some windows people, some of them they don't. And with me, it was a good window of opportunity to live up to something that a lot of people can or cannot do. And just you ain't never really seen the transverse in careers, of many mixed martial arts, guys that are able to do such a vast variety of professional sports, period. And it was a challenge to me, I mean, by all means, it's, I'm not your average guy, should I say,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, wrestling is, I mean, these guys are professional athletes, and I tip my hat to every one of them. I mean, it was a very good opportunity, and I took hold of it, and just as well as I did, I went in there and kicked ass and took some action. So, I mean, the part of my professional wrestling was sometimes even now, just sitting there thinking about it, it's a ride, man. It's crazy. I mean, I still watch wrestling. I still talk to, guys. I mean, it's just an awesome experience, and it's something that I'll always, be very proud of what I accomplished.
Now, the show is going to get a reboot. They're going to redo the show, and I think it starts again in June of this year. So if there's anybody that's listening right now and they're thinking about getting involved, is there any advice that you can give people that are thinking about joining Tough Enough?
Yeah, you better have your shit together. I mean, Bill DeMott and Booker T, Stone Cold, I don't believe that's going to be hard. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do it. Of course, my phone's blown up about it. I've talked to different friends, and along down the road here lately that I knew it was coming close to getting back on, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to do. I was really bummed out about. We had a good season. I thought we had a lot of athletes come through our show. A lot of good people that I think maybe could have overlooked. But it is what it is. It's just kind of like an unanimous decision. I mean, or split decision. Hey, it's I guess everybody's got their own opinion, but I'm pumped up. I think if you're doing it. You got to be on the A game. The worst thing I seen with guys coming in on Tough Enough was, you're going to compete at a professional level. Some people, I think that word gets used vastly the wrong way. I mean, what I mean by that is, a lot of your professional. I mean, these guys they stand alone. I mean, and you going in the lion's den. I think that's the way it should be. I mean, I think for every once in a while you got your guys that slip through the cracks, but and of course you got the political part of it. But I think you go in there, you be yourself, you look past all the bullshit, and do what you do what you do, and do it for yourself, and give it your all. I mean, because going through our Tough Enough, like I said, and hats off to Bill DeMott and Booker T and Trish Stratus. I mean, everybody I met, that was almost like the school of the hard knocks, man. That's why I'm so curious. I'm really curious to see how they're going to play this this song. Should I say again? I'm very, very curious to see how it's going to unfold. There's a lot of talent out there. I think there's you don't ever know what's going to happen. I mean. For me, coming from an MMA background, going on Tough Enough, that was a lot of pressure. I would say, I mean, every day. I mean, I didn't know nothing. I mean, hey, I'm right there at it. I'm in their face as much as they were in my face, and I mean, it was somebody just like I said, point blank simple. Have your shit together and you give it your all, but don't look back. If you put all your all in there and. You either can or you can't. Now, that's the simple truth about it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned somebody who's been getting a lot of heat lately, the gentleman, Bill DeMott. Now, you trained with him while you were in Tough Enough. and he's come under fire for either hazing or his tactics and the way that he trained. Did you ever feel like you were being mistreated with Bill at all?
Man, I caught bits and pieces of that. I hope Bill gets a chance to listen to this podcast. I really do. I haven't got a chance to speak with Bill since this incident. I've just heard bits and pieces. I need to give him a call. I hats off to Bill. Even I don't care what you read about the past, what's ever been said about me being blackballed, whatever. That's a bunch of words and writing. I could really care less. But man, Bill, I got a lot of respect for him. Even if he's ever lost respect for me or I've ever lost respect for him, I believe we would still have a lot of respect for each other, which I do. I think he's a hell of a guy. With that said, he's a hell of a coach. Like I said, that's hard not. Bill ain't no pushover, and I get it. That's the way them guys are brought up. It's a different era in guys. Some people need to wake the hell up and put their big boy pants on, get them panties off their ass and actually step up to the game, and it's out there for the taking. Somebody just needs to go do it. Stop being a pansy and crying about it. It's just a part of the system, and I guess that was Bill's system. And hey, if people, and I get it, don't get me wrong. There's at some time, in professional careers where, I guess, I'm sure it was nothing that he did intentionally. It was, if he's pushing someone to do good, I would very much stake up for him in the aspect of, it's just, he can't kill you. And if it was hurting someone's career, which I don't know, I wasn't there. I don't see Bill putting anybody through anything strenuously that would hurt their career or affect them to get hurt. They were always on our ass about protecting each other.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know. That's, I wouldn't, to me, my opinion, I don't see that happening. If somebody cried about a bump or a bruise, shit, I couldn't hardly walk after I come off that show. Literally, I come off, and this is no joke, but I just suck it up.
Yeah.
Literally, you go back to anybody on our show, it breaks you down, but it's called tough enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the show, we're now not saying that it always ends up being that it's going to pronounce its name out there, but it is tough enough. And are you tough enough? But that comes with a lot more than just being tough. It's mental, physical, emotional. It's a dance, so you got to learn it all. Like I said, you got to have your shit together. I literally knew very little, and what I did know from when I was taught from Dutch Mantel, just sitting back and watching, open your eyes, you pay attention. But just even that little bit of what I took into Tough Enough. Anything's possible. Just how bad do you want it? But I believe, I don't know. You see so many stories and things get so political nowadays, especially in such a big, one of the biggest entertainment businesses in the world. Man, who knows what really happened? But I really doubt that Bill would intentionally try to hurt someone or in someone's career or whatnot. But I promise you this, if somebody was whining about it, he didn't have time to hear it. And I get that, because there's a lot of sandbagging son of a bitches out there. So, like I said, sometimes you just got to, should I say, pull your big boy panties up, you know what I mean? Cowboys, look up and let's do the job. But, Bill's a great guy, so, I hope whatever he's doing, he keeps on doing it. And, misfortune, but hey, it is what it is. And shit, he was a great coach, to me. I learned a lot from him, and more than just wrestling, should I say?
Yeah.
And that went a long way with me.
Now you finished third, and that's going a long way, because you yourself have said that you were new basically to the wrestling business at that time. Now, Andy Levine and Luke Robinson, both of them had training prior to that, and ultimately Andy won, but then he got released. So what was your thoughts about the way that the show ended? I know obviously it would be silly to say that you didn't want to win, but like did that like eat at you to see how that all played out?
Oh man, how couldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, TV, the TV can lie in so many ways, but the TV somewhat gives you most of the truth. I mean, some of the stuff's so manipulated. I really wish there was times. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't have done anything no different now.
Yeah.
Now, don't get anything twisted on how I say things is what I mean. You put me there tomorrow, I'm of course I'm gonna do it the way I know how to do it.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. But anyways, yeah, it was when you sit back and you really just think about it, it's wow. I kind of get that wow. I like, man, wow, you see it, like seriously. And I mean, you call it bragging, boasting, whatever you want to call it. But when I sat back, I looked at it like I didn't really take no loss. I won. I mean, but it just like I said, it was a bummer the way the show turned out from the way I seen it happen and unfold. I mean, Luke. I really, I guess, and everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an excuse of why, what did what, or why not this didn't happen. But to me, I mean, that boy had skills. He was talented, and I knew that. I mean, it didn't take long to figure out, who was who amongst who whenever we stepped foot down there. And, hell of a guy trained from a Hall of Famer. I mean, everybody had some kind of talent, but like I said, either you got it or you don't. And it's a really, to me, I just, man, why wasn't it used? I guess I hated to see such a talent. I mean, you go to waste. I really don't know how to so much put it in words to express how I really want to say it. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a bummer. I mean, I think it could have been anybody's win in the top three. I just don't think it was what it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, it was a hell of a experience. It was a tough one. Like I said, I think we had three hell of the coaches. I mean, it's all depends on who's there, who's doing what, and how they do it. But sometimes it's hard to say who really picked who had the last say, because it sure didn't seem like it went that way to me.
No. And, we've mentioned Luke Robinson, we've mentioned Andy Levine and Bill DeMont and Stone Cold and all that. Are you still in contact with any of your former castmates or the coaches?
Yeah. I keep in contact with them all. I mean, I talked to Luke yesterday. I mean, of course, I've kept in touch with Stone Cold. I've kept up with him ever since the show's ended. I mean, I went and and hit him up on the Broken Skull Challenge. I mean, I'm still around. I mean, it's like I said, I've met some of my best friends in the world from these experiences and all these athletes that I've met. I mean, so yeah, I keep in touch. Like I said, I mean, I talking about the Bill DeMont thing. I mean, I was like, man, I need to give him a call and just say, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, in what we do, it's still a business.
Yep.
Not saying nothing, don't get personal. I mean, like I've even said back when I was saying, hey man, I'm a grown man too. We do grown men shit. So why cry? Don't cry like a kid if you're talking grown men.
Yep.
That's the way I looked at it. I think a lot of things I looked at might have been just too real. I call it how I see it. Sometimes that might not be the best way to do it, but I guess if you want an answer, then I guess if you don't want the answer, don't ask the question, or however you say that.
Yeah.
So,
Now, is it true that you and that Stone Cold sent you some pictures of what he's been hunting?
oh man, look, man, I send him pictures. Yeah, he's, I've looked up some stuff. I mean, yeah, we every now and then during hunting season, me and him, we'll hit each other up.
That's great.
It's the best thing. It's not every day someone talks shit to Stone Cold. I'll do it in a heartbeat, though. He's a good dude, man. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him.
That's awesome. Now,
such a big, everybody has had a big impact in my life. I mean, great people.
Now, your nickname they gave you in Tough Enough was MMA, and we spoke a little bit about that. Now, you were actually involved in MMA prior to getting into wrestling. So,
right.
When did that get started, and who were some of your I want to say favorites, but some of the people that really got you into MMA?
Whenever I got in the scene, it was with a friend. It was, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't just a huge, I guess you could say, fan. I've watched it. I mean, I knew who this guy was, that guy. But like I said, down, of course, different parts of the country, down in the South, it kind of, it's still growing. You know what I'm saying? That sport's still growing. It's still just hitting some towns. I mean, some people are just now getting acquaintance with what the sport really is. But I started, I had a little amateur career. I never really pictured it going. I did it, and I just was kind of like, wow, that was crazy. And then it just, hey man, you did all you need to keep going. And I just had encouragement. It was just one encouragement, one fan after another, one family member, one friend. Hey, you might need to step this up a little bit. You could actually do something. Hey, you think so? I don't understand. I ever doubted myself, but hey, never pictured myself. I always want to be a professional athlete, but I never pictured myself fighting for a living. And it just so happened, some of the guys, Frank Shamrock was one of my first mentors. Hell of a guy, Alan Belcher, Matt Hughes, Robbie Lawler, the current champ right now, Mike Pierce. I could go Pat Milicic. I could go down the list. Brian Foster, John Madsen. All the guys from the Hit Squad, Mark Fiore. Damn, my list goes long. But that's, I surrounded, whenever I got in, I surrounded myself with champions, and it makes a difference. You surround yourself with a good team and good quality, and you have them guys mold you. You're only as, iron sharpens iron. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So, you start and you work your way up, and that's just the same thing I would say in anything you do. It's how bad you want it, and when you do it, give it your all. And my MMA career, it happened. It seemed to happen so quick. I fell right into the Ultimate Fighter. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was a go-getter. I believe a record don't make a fighter. Putting on shorts and gloves don't make you a fighter either. It's all about heart, and it's about where your mind's at, and it don't. If you think that a fighter sucks because he lost, that's the wrong way to look at it. But it goes a lot further than that. And that's sometimes, like I said, it's only the fighters, the true fighters, and some of the guys that really only understand that. So I had a hell of a mixed martial arts career, and it led me to do everything I'm doing now. Everything it's just built. It's just like a big ball of fire, and it builds up in me, and you just, hey, why not? Hell, baseball players go play football. Football players go play baseball. Why can't a wrestler, if they're good enough? Hey, you can't knock somebody. If a guy can back it up, there really ain't much you can say about somebody doing something or trying something different.
Absolutely. Now, you were on Ultimate Fighter 7. And like we mentioned, you were on WWE Tough Enough. I think it's very unique to have somebody who did both. So which do you think, just personally, was more difficult?
Oh, yeah, it's such a, I guess I would say in most of your competition sports that so can be, I would say, equally paired, meaning mixed martial arts is some form of fashion of wrestling. Not saying that they're kind of, it's maybe not be collegiate, but wrestling, it's their real submission moves and real wrestling. I mean, everything's just what it is. It's wrestling, but in mixed martial arts, you have wrestling. I wouldn't say I ain't gonna say one's more harder than the other, because it could probably be equally matched at any given time in where you put yourself in the sport. I mean, just as bad as you can get hurt in fighting, you can get hurt in wrestling. It's just as tough as being physically fit in one as it is the other. You can write it down on paper however you want to. I mean, it's just saying, it's sometimes a hard question. It's kind of like saying, well, kind of a boxer beat an MMA fighter, kind of an MMA fighter beat a boxer. Well, in different scenarios, the way you match someone up or whatever rules you have, you can about make it as equal as you want to make it equal. So, I ain't gonna take one from the other. That's pretty hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
But man, when you're at the top, when you train at the top, man, all these guys are professional athletes to the T.
Yeah. Now, it's no secret that a lot of either MMA fighters have went to wrestling, or wrestlers have went over to become MMA fighters.
I was waiting on that question. I knew that one was coming up.
Yeah. So you had Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock, Brock Lesnar. Now we have a CM Punk is getting ready to try his hand in the octagon in MMA. What do you think his chances are?
That all goes about how he's matched.
Yeah.
But then again, like I'll say, I believe there's only this. It's a very. If you look back, I don't care if you go from the Dan Severn to, I would say the Jeremiah Riggs era, because I mean, just as much as them guys have converted into one, I've done the same thing, if not a vast variety, if not more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll put myself in the same category as him, because if you look at it on paper, how many people in the world has ever been successful at it, or has even done it and had a career in it? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, hey, CM Punk, good luck to him. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, I even said, shit, I'd take, hey, well, what weight? What's your weight? I'd take that fight too. And a lot of people say, talking shit. Well, that's a part of it too. I mean, it's just kind of like it's kind of like the new guy. I mean, everybody's going to want a piece of that ass. I mean, that's just a part of it. I mean, whenever that news came out, I'm sure names were getting thrown in the woodworks, and that's just the way it is. He's going to have to accept the fact. It's no different than me going to Tough Enough or being put in the WWE. It's a simple fact. I mean, hey, you want to be here? You want to be with the big dogs? You either get on the porch, or you ain't on the porch. That's just a part of it. And hopefully he's going to surround himself with a team of people, which I know where he's at. I believe he's at Duke Rufus's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
And I've been up there at Duke's with Alan Belcher, very good friend of mine. Duke, Anthony Pettis, Pat Berry, all them guys I consider good friends of mine. Eric Schaefer, all them guys. He's with a hell of a team. I mean, that's the them guys are champions. I mean, if they've had a belt or if they haven't had a belt, all them guys are champions. And to be successful at what he's wanting to do, I mean, he started out right, but he's all he's got to do is put it in play. It's just no other than just. I mean, he's going to have to find it in whatever he's doing. He's going to put it in play, and either he's going to put it in play or he ain't.
Yeah,
that don't mean that he's going to lose. I mean, shit. But like I said, it is what it is. I'm waiting to kind of see how it's going to unfold myself, because I'm very, very curious. I'm waiting. You know, like I said, I mean, I'm kind of, I don't even know if they even got him what weight he's going to fight at, but I mean, like I said, I'm ready to see who they're going to match him up with.
Yeah. Now, if you, I think you've kind of, are you on hold with your MMA? Are you retired, or what's?
Yeah, you know, I haven't. Yeah, you know, 2013 was my last deal with Bellator. You know, I just, I mean, you know, I stepped back for a minute. You know, I ain't never gonna quit nothing.
Yeah.
Shit, you know, the right. I believe any fighter or any wrestler or any bull, anybody, you know, the right, right price, right place, right time. Anybody's will step up and do something. You know, I mean, everybody always seems to have one more in them. I mean, look at Ken Shamrock and Kimbo. I mean, Come on. I mean, a lot of people think that's a joke. I mean, but hey, it's a business. Even if I would say, yeah, it's a fucking joke, but it's still business. You know, and that's just a part of it. That's a part of the world. You know, how things put together now. That's just a part of the business. And some people like it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, it really don't matter when they shut the cage, because when they do that, it's on.
Now you've been in MMA kind of, I don't want to say in the early stages, but you were in MMA prior to it becoming more of a spectacle. When you were there, it was kind of, you know, two fighters and there was a little trash talking. But do you think that now, especially like with, you see Ronda Rousey and she was at WrestleMania and all that stuff, do you think that they're trying to make UFC or MMA in general more entertainment driven?
Well, I mean, when the ticket sells and somebody's pocketbook's getting fat, why not? I mean, that's just the harsh reality of it. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of it is it's about that dollar, and sometimes you really just, I mean, I ain't gonna say you can't blame them. I'd like to see. I mean, why not? I mean, it's an entertainment. Everything's entertainment, you know, at some point. I mean, you sit back and just think about your everyday deal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What entertains you? I mean, it could be lots of things, and if you're willing to pay for it, I think the people. I'd like to see the money side of a lot of people's pay get a little bit better. You know, I mean, your athletes, your gladiators, or you know, them are the ones on the shows, and I mean, it's tough. It's tough. That was a struggle being a professional athlete. I mean, but you know, hey, if you're saying you're at the top of you're at the top of sport, you're the number one entertainment world business, and I mean, hey, you're putting yourself up in there with NBA or NFL or MLB or whatever you want to say, then hey, you know, talk's cheap. You know, pay up. You know, I think some of these. I think eventually you'll see it. And I think I've seen that going along in the MMA world, and I think you see it bits and pieces starting to come around in your wrestling world. I mean, where's the money that all these people, you know, if people come to see somebody, shit,
yeah,
people should be paid for it, and that kind of offer out what we're talking about. But I mean, just in a nutshell, entertainment-wise, yeah, I mean, with Ronda Rousey being at WWE, I mean, like I said, you go down the list. CM Punk won mixed martial arts. Me, I can do either one. Yep. I mean, Ken Shamrock's done it. Brock Lesnar was a champion with it. I mean, who was successful at it? You know, like I said, you know, hey, I'm right there along with any of them, and I'll go with any of them any day of the week. It don't matter. You know, they can make a phone call right now. I'll come out of whatever you want to call it. I'm in right now, but it's just a part of it. You know, hey, right now, you know, I got my mind focused on other things. But for the question, if it's out there, hell yeah. Why not?
Now,
I think it would be cool.
Yeah, you just kind of said something that I thought. Right now, you're kind of into the bull riding. You've got, I'm sure, other things going on as well. But if you got the call to either go back to MMA or professional wrestling, would you be open to doing either of those?
Well, yeah, of course I would be. I mean, kind of like Bob Barker said, the price is right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, that's a part of my life. It's a part of being a fighter. It's a part of being a wrestler. It's a part of being a professional athlete. It's just that's what comes along with it. Offers, deals. I mean, the whole, like I said, political, non-political. It's just a part of it. Sometimes it's nothing personal. It's just business, and that's just the way it is. It just depends on at that given time. I mean, hey, shit, money talks.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm gonna sell myself short. I wouldn't do that. But
No.
what in a nutshell, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I had a hell of a time being part of the WWE. Anybody out there listening? Shit, I loved every minute of it. Even call it short change, if you will, whatever. My feelings I heard about it, but yeah, hell yeah, I'd do it. I mean, everybody's made their mark in doing things that's been banned. Hell, Stone Cold probably wasn't Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler in some times. I'm sure everybody's got beef. I mean, that's just the human, or just the alpha dog coming out in you. You know what I mean? That's just a part of being on the top of the totem pole. I mean, shit. You go to a certain extent with certain guys. I mean, it's just a part of it. But hell yeah, why not?
Now, you've definitely you've heard about it. I'm sure that WWE Network and that whole thing, and that your episodes are starting to get put on there. So this is now not only are you on a part of professional wrestling history, but you're now being exposed to other people that may have not seen it the first go round. So now they can go back and watch it anytime they want. Probably the most infamous moment that that happened in there is the moment that you were running the ropes and your teeth fell out. So what?
I got them in, if you're wondering. Hell
good. How did your castmates respond to that later? Because did they know prior to that happening?
No, nobody knew, and then it was cool. I mean, it was just kind of like it was just one of them silent things. Like, did I just catch that? That just happened. It was just one of them that just happened moments. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they real. They faithful.
Well, that's
but
great.
yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad that they're showing that again. Gives people kind of like us a reunion run, and gives people another chance to really see if they didn't see something before and they're watching it again. Mm-hmm. But I mean, hell, if they would have called me right now to do something on a Tough Enough season to help or show up, man, hell yeah. Why not, man? I mean, there's always some I'd love to see. I love watching competition. I'd love to compete. That's just a part of who I am. And if it was to help somebody to get to the next level, hell yeah, I'm down. And then I can't, like I said, I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to unfold for the WWE and for the Tough Enough cast and the Tough Enough production itself.
Well,
I'm kind of really ready to see. I don't know if they post. I mean, who's coaching or who's hosting?
There was talk that they had offered the hosting to Stone Cold, but then he's doing the show on CMT. So the last I heard, they're thinking of Chris Jericho as the host right now. Okay,
yeah, I think that'd be a good one.
What I think that they should do is maybe have the cast. They have the competitors going, and then maybe they have a side competition from past people who were in Tough Enough, and they can win their way back onto the show. And I would love to see you get back on there.
That'd be interesting, yeah. I mean, hell, you go head up with new guy, yeah. Bring your past versus your present. I mean, and there's million things they could do with it. Yeah. That would be cool. Yeah, hell yeah.
Now,
I mean, it's competition either way.
Yeah, I want to talk about this. I know you're a busy guy and you're preparing for tomorrow, so I don't want to keep you. I want to say you are actually a veteran in real life, and
yes.
and
I was First Ranger Battalion.
And
yes, sir.
first off, I just have to say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
That's
Yes,
an
sir.
amazing thing. You're kind of just a jack of all trades. You've done it all. You've also been in a lot of different reality shows. And what other than bull riding, what else do you have coming down the line?
Uh, you know, I just had a new baby girl. I got a 5-month-old little girl now. A lot of people know, some people don't. That's a life changer, man. You know, that's cool. I mean, I really, she's a wonderful thing in my life right now. You know, a lot of different changes going on right now in my life. I'm really focused on what I'm doing. You know, I'm shooting for that PBR level. You know, to do that, and that's pretty much what I'm in with now. Like I said, I'm down here with David Barrett, Monster Bull. You know, y'all, if you wondered who he is or what I'm doing, you know, check it out, monsterbull.com. You know, we put on clinics, and we got one next weekend that'll be here. I don't know if they posted or if it might be private or public. I really don't know. I know we're gonna do one, but that's basically it right now. You know, I've always had, you know, I'm always, you know, I get bits and pieces from different things, you know, being in the loops I've been in, some less than others, which no big deal, you know, hell, you know, but you don't ever know with me, you know, shit, I'm like a big rig. I just keep trucking, man.
Well, congratulations, obviously, on the daughter and everything that's going good for you. Just for people who are listening to this now, I know you have a Twitter and you have a fan page on Facebook. Is that the best way to get, you know, to keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, there's a Instagram account. You know, everything's under my name, Jeremiah Riggs. You know, everybody should, you know, hit me up, check me out, see what I'm doing. Jeremiah Riggs at Twitter, Jeremiah Riggs on Facebook. I'm very, very easy to find, and you know, I talk. You know, it's just, you know, I do take time to answer any questions I can answer, and talk to whoever needs any advice and talk to. You know, I really try to take the time that was given to me. I try to really give it back. That really goes a long ways. And, you know, people helping people, I think you ought to see more of that go on. You know, if anybody's out there listening, you know, she help somebody out, you know. Get out there, touch somebody's life. Get out there and help somebody, you know. See, America needs that. You know, we need some good things, get some good positive attitudes around here in this world, and lift somebody up. You know, you don't ever know what somebody's going through or what somebody's doing. You know, and whether you believe in the man upstairs or not, you know, hey, don't make it such a touchy subject nowadays. Shoot, you know, if you believe in what you believe in it, and if you don't, you don't. But hey, you know, lift somebody up and help somebody out.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on today. It means a lot. We want to wish you the best in everything that you're up to, and we'd love to have you back on the show anytime that you got something going on. You know, and just thank you for what you've done and for what you do.
Yeah, you know, and you know, a little bit goes a long way. I appreciate if I ever ain't never said thank you to somebody, I thank you. And if somebody needs a thank you. Fans, family, friends, everybody out there, you know, everything I've done is because everybody out there that's follows me and has kept up with me and has helped me through an awesome journey in my life. And man, all I can do is just keep it up and keep on going, and try to keep on working to keep America informed on what Big Rig's doing, you know.
Well, you just you keep them teeth in tomorrow night, all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep them up tight, man. I promise you that. And then I'm gonna, you know, go and strap that dude up, and see, you know, let him know what happens. You know, someone said, you know, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. I said, yeah, you know, that's what I told the bull.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And, you know, like we said, just good luck and keep on doing great things. All right.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, anytime I appreciate you having me on the show, and everybody out there. If you're gonna, do your thing, do it. Put your work in and keep it 100.